Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know in my last video I said it would be a few weeks before I put out a video on a walnut dining table build I was doing. Well, the holidays happened and many things came up, and I had to delay the table for a little while. But the table is done now. It's been delivered to the in-laws who I built it for, and so I'm finally getting around to doing a video for it. I started off working on the boards to make the table top. I don't have a jointer wide enough to joint these boards, so I took a store-bought piece of select pine and double-sided taped these to it, ran it through the planer, and then flipped them over to get the other sides parallel. I know that this isn't the best way to do it, but it ended up working out okay. I previously built a walnut top dining table for my own house. It came out okay, but it was my first table project, and I learned a lot of lessons during that one that I was able to put to good use when I did this project. I really like working with walnut a lot too. It's just overall beautiful wood. After getting the faces flat on all the boards, I took them over to the jointer and jointed one edge. Then I did the opposite edge in the planer. Once I had good square pieces, I just laid them out on top of my workbench. I wanted to kind of line them all up and see what was going to look the best. You can see here I'm putting a 1 on both edges of these two boards that are going to butt up with each other. I put a 2, 3, 4, etc. on all the rest of them just so I wouldn't get mixed up when I was putting biscuits in. A while back I drilled some holes through my workbench to be able to put clamps through. This is really handy. I would advise you to do it if you can manage it. When I built my first table and glued up the top, I glued all of it together in one shot. I think a lot of people probably do it this way, but I wasn't necessarily happy with the results doing it that way. I decided this time I was just going to glue the first two pieces together and then glue one piece onto that, and then one piece onto the next one and one piece onto the next, and do about 5 or 6 total glue ups. I liked the results doing it this way much better. I didn't show all this in the video, I just kind of skipped to the end of that because showing you putting in biscuits and gluing each piece together, clamping and unclamping would be kind of boring. After each glue up, I sanded both sides with 80 grit. In fact, all of the initial sanding I did on this entire project I did with 80. As you can imagine, doing these glue ups one at a time is a little bit tedious. I honestly was really pleased with the way the top came out though, and I think I'm just going to do all my tabletops like this from now on. It was well worth it in my opinion. Once I got the top all glued up, I decided to work on making the legs. Again, I employed the double-sided tape, stick to a flat piece of plywood, run it through the planer, and flip it over method. These boards were too wide for my joiner. Everything came out fine doing it this way though. Same process here as for the pieces for the top. I just got both sides flat, took them over to the joiner, jointed one edge, and then ran the other edge through the planer. After that, I ripped them all down to width on the table saw. I took a little bit of time here with the 12 pieces I had to build the legs out of. I wanted them to kind of look right, so I just kind of laid it all out and took the pieces I thought looked right and put them together. And then I marked it so I wouldn't forget which pieces went where. Once the legs were all glued up, I took them over and jointed one side, and then ran the other side through the planer again. took them over to the table saw. I trimmed off one end and then I flipped them over and cut them to their final length. After that, it was time to get to work on the aprons. I had another big wide board, so I ran this thing through the planer. It was actually pretty flat, so I just skip planed it both sides. I jointed one edge, and then since I was going to rip it twice to make 2 aprons out of this one piece, I just did the rest on the table saw. After the aprons were done, I trimmed off one edge of the entire tabletop. I got my combo square out, set it to 1 inch, and then I just inset each of the legs 1 inch in and marked it all the way around so I could keep track of where they needed to go. I decided to go with pocket holes for the entire construction of the base of this table. I know it's kind of the easy way out, but I really wanted them to have the option to take this apart and move it easily if they ever wanted to move it. I inset the aprons 1/4 inch on the legs. I just kind of like that look. I wanted to do something at least a little bit decorative to the bottom of the legs of the table. Once I had the base built, I realized it wasn't quite as tall as I wanted, so I cut some blocks out of walnut to add to the bottom of the legs. In this way, I was able to put a chamfer on these, and that kind of gave me a little bit of a decorative look while also adding some height. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone by adding these. Once the blocks were on, I sanded these down with 180 and then 220. In preparation for polyurethane on this entire project, I first sanded with 180 and 220 on all surfaces. Like I said previously, I built this table for my in-laws. They have 2 small children and I wanted to eliminate as many sharp corners as I could. I decided to put a real small chamfer on all the long sides of the legs. For the legs of the project and all of the parts of the base, I put 3 coats of wipe-on poly. I put 1 coat on and then I sanded with 600 and then I put the second and third coats on. Once I had polyurethane on all the parts of the base, I pieced it all back together and then I took it off of the tabletop so I could finish it. I really like this tack cloth for wiping the surfaces of things clean before I poly. Just a quick comment about polyurethane. I really like the results I've been getting with wipe-on poly. I was using water-based for a little while, but this is just so easy to apply and the results look great. Once I had 3 coats of poly on the underside of the tabletop, I flipped it over and put a round over on all top edges. I sanded the whole top side down with 180 and then 220. The only thing left was to polyurethane the top side of the tabletop. I did it like I said before, 1 coat, then I sanded with 600, 2 more coats, and then in between the last 3 coats I sanded with 2000. There's a total of 6 coats of poly on the top of this table. This is a very, very satisfying build. I couldn't be more pleased with the results. My in-laws love it, and I can't wait to build another table. Thanks so much as always for coming back and watching my videos. I really appreciate it a lot. Everybody have a good day.